Welcome to Coram Deo Academy, the Collin County campus. Let's get started on our tour. This is the grammar school for the Collin County campus. And while we can't be in person together, we are so happy that you're able to join us on video. I want to welcome you to our grammar school. I am Stephanie Garland and I am the principal for the grammar school, which means I oversee pre-K through 4th grade. I'm going to be walking you through some of the classrooms today. You'll actually get to see the teachers and the students participating in a normal day, because on our campus tour you would usually have a chance to come in and see the classrooms and see the students and the teachers interacting with one another. So we wanted to provide you with that opportunity. So I hope you enjoy the tour today.
What do I need? I love y'all's memories. Very good. All right, so what are we going to do with that wood piece now that we've done all that? What do we do with it now? Because we're going to make this letter, so what do we do?
We just do this.
So we just came out of Mrs. Wells' class and she was teaching her handwriting lesson. At the pre-K level, we really focus on building up those fine and gross motor skills, and we do that through handwriting. We also, as you saw, the handwriting lesson also includes learning to associate sounds with the letter formation. It's a pre-reading skill that's important. We also work on recognizing patterns and shapes, and that is a pre-math skill that they're learning. Our pre-K class is a very academic course. Typically by the end of pre-K, most of our children are starting to do some reading.
L is for what God is. God is love.
So that was Mrs. Allred's kindergarten class, and you got to see a couple of things happening. First was part of her Bible lesson, and then the second part was some math. So one of the things that is a highlight of classical education is the use of song and repetition in the classroom. We know that God made our children's brains to be very responsive to repetitive information. And so one of the things that we do is we want to incorporate as much repetitiveness, as much memorization as we can. So we incorporate a lot of singing, a lot of chanting, and we saw that with their recitation of Try, Try Again, and then also with their doubles facts. We're now going to head to Mrs. Wilson's 1st grade class, and you're also going to get a chance to see a math lesson. Please pay attention to how she uses repetition and chanting in her math lesson to solidify those concrete math details. Dimes first. How much is a dime worth?
10.
All right, so we're counting by tens. Ready? 10.
20. 30.
D1, 1st grade. How many dimes?
7.
How many pennies?
1.
Can you show that?
Fall is for fun. Apples grow on trees.
Apples are fun to eat.
Leaves are fun to jump into.
Good job. Good job. All right, Drew. So that was Mrs. Petit's 2nd grade class, and you got an opportunity to see the children present their poems that they wrote about the fall. So that lesson incorporated a lot of different skills and abilities. First of all, they're working on their handwriting skills, their composition skills and spelling, but mostly they were working on their presentation skills. As you know, public speaking is the #1 fear of most adults. So we want to give our children ample opportunity to have experiences of speaking in front of others, and we start small. We also want to give our children ample opportunity to become good listeners and good audience members, and to think and pay attention to what's being said to them. So we start in pre-K, but you can see that we have many times throughout the day where our children get a chance to speak publicly to one another. We're now going to go into Mrs. Jones's 3rd grade class and watch a Latin lesson. So I've got to be honest, guys, 3rd grade is my favorite class. I used to teach it here, and it just brings a lot of good memories back to me, especially when they are reciting their Latin. So you also saw during their Latin lesson, yes, they're learning vocabulary, but they're also incorporating the chanting and the singing so that they can get that cemented into their brains. Again, we saw them learning the Pater Noster in Latin, which is the Lord's Prayer. And so we're incorporating a lot of different things at the same time. We're incorporating Latin along with our scripture. We are also incorporating composition. If you had a chance to see, they created the Death of the Pig story using the Latin vocabulary that they had. And then at the end of the lesson, Mrs. Jones had a time where they were eating snack and listening to a story. Narrative is very important. Reading is a skill, but why do we read? We read so that we can learn narrative, so that we can learn story. And that's one of the reasons that we do a lot of reading aloud to our students. We're about to go into Mrs. Murcott's 4th grade class, so if you would, follow me. So we just saw Mrs. Murcott's 4th grade class doing a picture gazing lesson. We associate picture gazing with our Bible curriculum and with our history curriculum. And some of the objectives of this particular type of lesson is to frame historical and biblical events within a visual context, to discuss possible reasons why an artist made certain choices, but it's also just to introduce the idea of that lesson. Now today we saw Mrs. Murcott teaching a lesson about William Penn. History is an important part of classical education. We frame a lot of the students' experiences within a historical context. So we start basically with creation in kindergarten, and we move up through the modern times by the end of 5th grade, so that they can kind of see where their story fits in God's greater story in history. So thank you for joining the classroom tours. I do have a few extra little things that I'd like to say as we conclude our time together, but I appreciate you coming and joining us today. So I'm so glad that you got to join us on our tour today. There are a few general questions that I typically answer at this point in the tour. The first that I'd like to mention is class size. We typically average about 12 or 13 students per class. We offer electives on Fridays, starting in kindergarten for our children. We have art and music and athletics and all kinds of fun things for them to do on Fridays. And then we also offer competitive athletics starting in 4th grade for those children that are interested in that. Again, thank you for coming to the Collin County Campus Grammar School Tour. If you'd like more information, you can visit our website.